Hello everyone, I am Palpatine 001, aka the Senate, and we're back with City Skylines 2 Waikato 5.2 Steel and Concrete. Steel and Concrete? Yes, Steel and Concrete. Why? Because in 5.1 we focused on getting the oil fields going both offshore and onshore to develop the oil industries to help feed the ever-growing industrial demand and the consumer requirements of the city, given when there are well over 102,000 cims. 5.2, we are going to be looking at the ore, stone and coal industries, extraction industries, which lead into a very specific set from the supply chain pack. And before we get going, we're gonna go straight into here. Go over here, and I'm gonna dig up the it's stone. So work out where we're gonna do the ore, because it's gonna determine where I'm gonna do the steel works, and it's gonna be probably right next to the airport, the regional airport that is, because we're very close to the port and also some very extensive rail networks. So yes, we've also got ore on this side, on the other side of the map, which will be good, but that said, stone doesn't need anything, so we could also extend out here as well, whether it be, and there goes the autosave, whether it be coal or ore. Stone doesn't require, so that can basically go anywhere. And the reason for that, so that's 5.2, and that's what we're going to be covering today. 5.3 is the farming, which if I go back in and just select one, we'll establish our big rural sector over here, and then we'll do lumber, which is anything with trees, which is 5.4. Meanwhile, just looking at how Waikato's going, we're going to have to cross over to this side eventually to start doing the city centre and more residential, because we are currently that's trimmed back. So because off screen I developed Little Britain North, which you can see uses the UK stuff, and I also developed Zealand, which uses the Netherlands, and I can still the French, no, it's still the Netherlands, the French, yep, all held French, and some of the German stuff, because we have to get the population up to support all the workers. But eventually I'm going to probably do South Waikato Junction off screen, and depending on how we set this up, I believe that is Metro, which is going to work nicely to get the workers in. Yeah, to get more workers going, and also establish probably a working base in here. What's going to give it away is, the easiest way to do it is find out where the wind's blowing. Okay, so it's going that way, so watch where you do your polluting industry. So, it's blowing it offshore. So I can definitely establish residential in here to support all through here. Woohoo, right on the junction. So yeah, that's what we will get up to with 5.2, because yeah, if I swing back over, let's go back into the coal. So here, we could do coal and ore, and I could still do ore up the other side, but I'll do stone up the other side as well, because again, when you're building your cities, how cities were founded is around resource. In this case, we're doing ore for coal and ore itself, but we'll also do stone, because what we're going to do is if we go over here and go to the supply chain, we are going to establish today the blast furnace, so that requires ore and coal. The steelworks, ore and coal. The concrete batch plant, so that just requires stone. The casting fabricator, so metals, again ore and coal. And the fabrication unit, same thing, and then the gravity for the concrete. So we're going to establish the steel industry on this side, given it's close to the port, and we're going to establish the concrete, and excuse me, on this side. Now, which way is the wind blowing? Straight off the map, so we can get some residential going through here. This is going to be interesting to do. So I can also just establish, yeah, that, because I'm going to have to take a look at the farming, because I will want to establish a cargo port down here to move goods across, and I could theoretically extend one out here as well, although it is in close proximity to one already, so with a road, so not terribly important in this case. So yeah, we'll focus around the steel industry and the concrete industry, which is absolutely needed, because that's how because the city is now leveling up and expanding at a rapid pace. Well, we need the steel and concrete to get going. We also need the metal for advanced industries as well. This is how it is. And then we'll focus on food and cotton. I'm just having to update this because this was playing up. No, not Subway. I'm just wondering if Anarchy was on earlier that disabled that. And there was... Ooh. Trigger Happy Mouse. Yeah, I just wonder if Anarchy was on and it just got upset. Excellent. Alright. So that's... I just had to do that. So let's drop down here. So I will establish, as part of 5.2.1, if you want to do it, the residential and that on this side. We have got a metro connection, and we have got a rail, passenger rail, not cargo, that connects into the city centre. And I believe we also have... there's the drawbridge. Passenger and cargo rail. Although that said, I've also got cargo rail going over this side, so it's good to delineate a way. Yeah, so we've got the rail connections set up, so we could definitely get and we've got the port here, so we could definitely get the steel side set up first, and then the concrete, and then I'll backfill it with the residential, and that will complete our 5.2. Now, that's a railway yard, isn't it? Yep. And that's the rail cargo going in. Now, I think I might have ballsed that up slightly. Yeah, I have. Before we do that, and this is the old case of squirrels, we're squirreling. I need to... turn that on for starters. Oh, has it added the new lines? Because I've got the new line kit in. It has two. Ooh. Looking much better, I must say. Okay. Reason why... yeah, I can... okay, the reason why that is because the bus doesn't have bus and metro very well. So what I'm looking for is subway and yeah, not really in this instance. Maybe. The only problem with doing that is then I have to drop that underground. Or, no, it's at surface level at this point. Where is it? It's all the way over there. And I don't think I've brought... no, so it would be elevated. Okay, so that because of the size of that... Ah, yeah, because of the way it works. Yeah, no, it would be elevated correctly. Now here comes a deep sense of irony. Where's the bus terminal? It's on that side. So technically this road is no longer needed in of itself. Oop, no. And this is the part that really annoys me with this game is they still set it to European and North American standard rather than UK, New Zealand, Australia, and Japan. So that is a bit of a pet peeve. Alright. And if you just heard that, that's my cat, who I've got to go and sort out. My cat he's a Bombay Burmese, and he is quite oh, okay. He is quite the conversation artist, being a Bombay Burmese male. So if you just give me 1 second, I'm just going to sort out my cat. Cat owners out there, you definitely know what happens when your cat is deciding to defend the faith, defend the territory, and defend the food. He was busy beating up the neighbour's ginger cat again. As he does. Anyway. Now I'm probably going to... Right, so that's just got that set up. Okay, so let's take a look at establishing our... So we'll go backwards. And we will take a look at... Turn that off. Nope. Okay, so we've got to go backwards. So blast furnace. You're looking for the steelworks themselves. So there they are there. Okay, and where's the rail system? There. You don't need cargo because they'll run it into the port directly. Okay, so probably establish it, keeping that free. Okay. Yep. So roads. Okay, and that's the moat. Okay. So we're going to establish we'll establish them in here. So first thing we go into is go for the steelworks itself. No, concrete batch. Steelworks. Big boy. Okay, so there's the steelworks. Now we've got... Now, what I've also got... Some of these allow for upgrades. Okay, so the milling and rolling unit. So if I take it away, at the moment you've just got the steel mill itself. That's it. Put in the upgrade, there's the rolling mill. So that part has now been established. Now what I will do is we go back out, and this becomes a little bit of a pain. No, is the blast furnace. Okay, so if we look at the blast furnace. Okay, so I probably all want them in the same site. So what we will do is not that one. Because what you also do is you establish supporting zoning industry that goes around it as well. So we would zone more industry. I can also get any of the other standards in now. The automotive factory, which uses steel and oil, obviously, is over here. And there's no way he has a... Oh dear, unless that's fully automated. Okay, and he requires metals, which we're going to do. Excuse me. To produce vehicles, he needs those. So he's got the oil industry, but we haven't quite got the metals in place yet, which is what we're establishing. So it's all linked up. So next up is here we go again. Is no casting fabricator, yes, not yet. Is got the steel. It's the blast furnace. Okay, as I said, I do not need the rail system because they'll bring it out and in. I'm close to the port anyway, but if I need to, I can establish a small shunting yard. That has crossed mind for those that are wondering. Before I go through all the upgrades, I'll place these all in first. And then the big fabrication unit. Okay, so that's the metals industry sorted. Okay, that's established them. Then we just go back. No, I could actually establish a siding in here, and I probably would. Okay, so there's the foundry. There it goes. I'll need storage capacity, and I'll show you where that comes from in a minute. Casting fabricator, no upgrades. Fabrication unit, no upgrades. Now, I am going to need somewhere to store the stuff. Okay, so now there's two ways I can go about it. One's realistic, one's not quite. So I can put in a storage yard right off the bat. Or I can build one using the rail system. So I would need... No, those are the... See, the problem... Yeah, well, those are nice. That actually could work very nicely. Now, the catch is I'm not sure how the game's going to handle it. So that's coal, iron, and ore. That actually... So that's an asset pack. So that could actually work. These are all mediums, aren't they? No, I think it tells me so. Do I have the large ones? No, I don't think I do. I don't think I put them in. So... That's one way of bringing them in. So I can easily establish that. Just out of curiosity, I will go and find the small one. If it exists. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Not always. So that's oil and petroleum. Oh, because it's two different sizes. Just out of curiosity. Oh, that's very small. Now, you're wondering why if I didn't use it on over here. It's because I've got general industry floating around as well. Wouldn't work. So in this case, we use the cargo transfer stations. This I could be more specific and bring goods in. And then getting them back out again. So that's actually quite good. So we can actually set up little, and I believe there was the small version. Haha. No, just the big ones. Just the big ones. And that's perfectly fine. What I do need to check is how am I getting that out? Because I don't think that accepts normal rail. Not. Yeah, no, I'm just wondering, is that going to also accept single, or am I going to need a... Okay, so that's fine. So the way you get that way that would come out is... You go here. Clever, actually. And you go back to your single. Like that, and then you bring it out the other side. Well, that works. So that brings in... I'm just wondering if the game's now technically upset it. That's going to be interesting to see how that's actually going to handle itself now. Now I'm curious. Because the assets are older than the game updates. So that's going to have me very curious. Let's get the electric. I just want to have a look at this. I'm just going to... Whoop. Here's the order. So I just want to slap this down. Yeah, this is... I'm now very curious on this now. This is me, again, having an absolute scroll. Oh, one track. Okay. Wrong one. Single track. Yep. And, okay. Yeah, if I'm doing general, I'm going to use the general stations. Right. Sorry, that was an absolute case of going for a scroll. Okay, so go back to get my normal rail. Okay. That said, it's what I should be doing is no. It says it's actually the industry itself is actually very close by. Although I could do a shunting yard through, but if I connect this to the normal connect this to the normal network, that said I could be also bringing it out from other areas as well. So it works both directions. So okay, so it does actually work. No, sorry, wrong one. Anarchy is off, isn't it? Because that really screws up, yeah. Yep, that's fine. And then okay, a single. Just put it on straight to make it easy. Ooh. Oh, have I misaligned them? Huh, probably. Is that... I can hear all the train engineers going, no, 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 and, no. Oops. Indeed. Okay. And then just do this again. I was going to say, oi. It's not going to let me do it. Okay. Not what I was wanting to do, but I'll do it anyway. I was trying to avoid a dual crossing. Watch what happens. No, it's treated as a single. And with crossovers. Wow. Okay. I'll give it more credit. Right on top of it, but whatever. Okay, and that allows... You know what? A curve might... It's been real picky today. I got it working at the other end. Now it's decided to be picky at the other. That said, leave it for now. It's just a double crossover that is just butt ugly, but it's there. Right. So the extraction's all on that side. Just go back in. Yep. So basically all through up here. So we've just got to find the runway there. Yep. Okay. And all back through there. So that creates some good scenes. Now, I did say we were going to look for some of the other signature industries that we could use. Okay. So I'll just pop back into normal. Okay, so what we've got, particle fetch, no, take SC off. Ah, could do the big shipyard. Because we're now in the position to support that. It's a case of where do you put them? And that would be perfect because of the way it's facing in the bay. The other option is I can put them in. Yeah, he's sitting in the bay because the open ocean's all the way out here. So I like this one the best. So put him in. No upgrades to him. And what we do there is just make sure that's lined up properly. I'm just gonna check something first. I just need to check something first on that new... Don't play up on me now. Okay. Okay, yep, no, that's all fine. So is this... Yep, no, that's perfectly fine. Okay, so that's just quickly set him up there. I'll check water and all that. Okay. So with that in mind, I now just need to establish the ore industry, which is going to be straightforward. We've also got the airport up there, so quite a bit of room to establish industry as well. Now what I was gonna do, and sorry for my voice has trailed there for a second, is go back into industry and check. Oh, that's right, they've got all these big boys out now. Big logistics. So I can set up a logistics center in here too, which would be perfection. And these get massive by the looks of it. Whoo! Yep. Oh, I'm liking the looks of these. Anyway, what I'm looking for is other... That's with grain. Given ore to produce there, that would be a good one. Farmer is technically oil. That would actually be on the other side. Particle warfare, no, that's all supply chain stuff. So the only one that would actually go here is that particular one, because the farmer goes near the chemical industry, ironically. So I think what we'll do is run him out. And run him out. Get him to come around the back. Okay. And I'll actually come back to... Actually, no. I'm just wondering. Yeah, it does work actually. Basically, I'm setting up for a new industrial complex. Is basically what I'm doing here. If I'm going to put roundabouts in, I'll do that later. Okay, that just basically sets all that up ready to go. Okay, and the reason why I do that is there is a specific type of industry I actually want to go in here. I actually want warehousing to go in there before I put in industry to technically support this. And I will put in, and I like these ones the best, the southwestern set. And leaves that in. So what we'll do is I'll leave this now alone because I'll zone up all the extractive in there. I will bring the subway and I'll do this off screen 5.2.1, so in between 5.2 and 5.3 of this series. Bring the subway in. Where is he? There he is. Bring him in here. And I think I've got, that's a heavy rail connection to bring him in. And I'm just going to be wondering where I'm going to actually connect him up to. So for the subway, that would the metro, so he becomes elevated. He'll come along, service in here, and then he'll come round like this and effectively terminate. That is a rail connection, so we get a station in here. Possible subway, so bring another subway across. It depends on the mood, and he can be tied. Could be tied back into the main line. That creates a bit of a loop pattern. Or he could service out. Yeah, he could come out through here. Now, given that we've already... I don't think they service come across, do they? No, so that would be perfect to bring him in. Because I think the way these ones pop out... Yeah, he pops out that way. He is not established to go out that way. Okay, so now that works fine. Yeah, because we'll establish a new settlement in here. But we'll leave that alone for the moment. Let's pop over to this side. And let's set up the concrete industry. So in this case, it is a highway. I've got all 4-laners. There's a reason for that. Reason for that. Now where is that? Never mind. Okay, so nope, still not quite. So he's going to come out through here. Okay. Because he's got, not only because we could establish residential in here, this is going to get a bit finicky to do. But it's not the... so if we just bring him up slightly... Yeah. The other one I could do is, that's a two-liner, isn't it? And this is where it goes. Is it technically going to work over all these? Or do I go back to... Decisions. Not priority at the moment because I'm not connecting him up yet. Case. Now this is a case of, this is where I get particularly efficient or lazy, depending which way you want to put it. Okay. And then what we do is bring that down as a 4-laner. In fact, yeah, that's a case of, do I want to connect it through here? This is the old chestnut you have to work out. Now, the reason why I'm doing that, nope, what we do is drop that down. Let's go. Yeah, it might be a slight bend to it, but that's fine because, again, another roundabout. Whoa. All hail the roundabouts. Because that actually lets me to get industry in here, and it also technically allows me to get a river ferry line service running in here too. Okay. Now, let's get him... See, I could bring him over as well, which means, do I do it? Oh, do I? No, run him as a 2-laner. That is on, isn't it? This is a hilly part of the... Now, I have got the automatic leveler on, which helps. Okay, and then we set up the industry. And I'm looking for the concrete batch plant. And the gravity separation unit. Okay. Sorry, a bit of a brain fart there. What was I looking for? Okay, that allows that to be established. Now, realistically, come on. Am I going to do retaining walls with that? Or am I going to get out my landscaping tool and go, no. Just go. Ah, there's a bridge there. Yep, so I can connect back under 2. Oop. Got cranky with me. Never mind. Okay, so that's two very simple industries to establish there. Okay, done. Now, yes, he does include one. Ready mix. So it's basically your building. Oh, look at that. Oh, shush. There you go. And again. Okay, so this is for traffic control more than anything else. Sorry, that's the wrong one. Haha, it's whinging it's too low. Try this. Dodger. Okay. And this is more for traffic control because of the way that the way the trucks are. Perfect. And you know, because I can and because I will. Okay. And that is so I can establish. Well, actually, no. Don't even need that. Do that. Hey, come here. Okay, put that in. That's just stone. So we could just establish him quickly. Yep. And on the other side, because reasons. Yes, those famous reasons. That would be a very good one to okay, so done. Mm-hmm. Oh, don't like it when it gets finicky on me like that. Okay, it sets that up. We have got extraction on this side. I can decide. I'm more likely just to put more extraction industry in there, and then shoot back to normal industry. Leave that clean. Go back into signature. Ooh, okay. And realistically, oh, it's got a back entrance. Ooh. Okay. Mm-hmm. Ah, okay, yeah, back entrances. Noted. And to be all honesty... Whoops. Yeah, all working perfectly. There you go. So that's set up, and again, this time I'll change these over because now I can. Not medical. Not quite. And that establishes that now. Is that actually sitting on a district? No, it's not. Oops, missed. Okay. Don't need to set it too steep there for the parking department. Okay, and that's all. That's the autosave. That's all set up, ready to go. There's not much to these. Remember, I'm not going to. Don't need to, because he's got a cargo terminal nearby. I don't need to establish a terminal until I do 5.3, which is the farm. Okay, so that's technically they're all set up, ready to go. And it says I'll expand the extractive industry once I know more on what's going on. Now that's concrete in that, so that's not needed. So all I need to do is, yeah, see, they don't have a. Okay, so that's that one, and they won't have. They won't have that either. So that sets him up in there, ready to go. And I don't think I had to worry about these guys. Nope, they're all connected to the system already. And if I was to look at water and that, the only thing I really need to do is, I really wanted to, and add a big one in this case, it's one chuck in a water tower. But two add in the treatment plant. Okay, add in the brand new treatment plant. And there you go there. And then well, you don't want anything growing in between there, so. Let's plant it up. Yep. There you go. Done. Which means the last bits I'm going to do before I work on this and come back is we have got a garbage problem shooting up. Now, is that a fire department? That's fine. I don't think I've got fresh water in here. Okay, so I am going to just push the garbage through. Okay, and okay, do that. And I was also going to establish. Okay, I already have that one, so I just need to establish a full-blown recycling plant. Oops, try that again. And has Anarchy switched itself back on? No, because that would have been for the demolition. Okay, yeah, they need road connections, so... Okay, so that just establishes those up. Which then all I need to do, and I'll do it in the city centre, so we will pop over, is one. As soon as I remember what it is. The big technical university. Plop him in. Okay, so the technical university for the technical orientated. Okay. And there you go. Which then all that leads me to do is the supply chain side for the steel, for the concrete and the steel works I just did earlier. Okay, nothing off those because they come off differently. So then it's this industry. Oh, office. Okay. That comes off wood. Comes off livestock. Comes off the beverage production. Athletes wear. We haven't got the rocket in yet. Steel building. Okay, so that establishes him. Okay, and then energy, which we've got. And the strip mine office. Energy lobbying office. Ah, City Hall's right there too. So why not put him right across the road? Hehe. Strip mine office. I'm actually going to put that over here. So that's where that goes. Okay. Yep. Oh, right opposite City Hall for that matter. Ooh, even casting a bit of a shade. Ooh, yeah. So that's the steel building. And the energy lobby office. Alright, I'm going to go away and establish this area because we need the residents to support it. And then we'll come back here and do a review. And then suddenly, and then we'll let the simulator rip again. So we'll be back soon. Okay, and we're done. Now, a bit of a catch. Getting down the concrete and steel, so concrete and iron, both extraction, industry, so manufacturing, so primary, secondary, and tertiary, which is the head offices. Which if I shoot all the way over here somewhere, I should see one here. That's for steel, that's energy. Those were easy to set up. Basically, once in the earlier part before I the first part with 5.2, that only took 10 minutes to set those up, including establishing getting the railway ready. What took longer was to establish a new suburb, in fact a new town with its own metropolitan centre, to service the workers because we're already short, so I need to get residents in there to service the industry. That took longer. Now I will do a special edition video for both covering the establishment and doing a tour of Waikato Gardens, because I'm going to release the simulator shortly and then let it run. I'm also going to do a special edition on some new toys, as it's called, that we are going to play with. And these toys include... These need their own special editions. So, expanded city policies is on, so if I was to do that, that should technically be a budgetary tool. Actually, we'll cover that in a minute while the simulator is going. So expanded policies is... Okay, so at the moment, they're in here. So we'll cover these. We will also cover something that makes public transport... Oh, we'll also cover... things like that. Now, this is off because this should be covered by a central government, not by the city. So that will always be off. But one that we will cover... And have I got it here? Is bringing in private education and private healthcare. So if I was to set up a hospital... At the moment it's set to public. Let me just turn that back off. It is set to public. But I can make it become private and then set the fees. And I can do that for schools as well. So that needs to be covered in its own needs to be covered in the special edition. And the last one, which is probably going to have a special edition of a special edition to cover on its own because it's so extensive. And this covers transport planning more than land use planning. So I just had to do that quick. It's a transit time tables. Now this, you're going to see initially when I set up the lines in a minute, but this now controls how public transport actually really works. So I'll do a special edition on for that. But in short, if I was to go to a line, and these are all the new buses I've got to do, I've now basically got to set up the timetables, and I will run you through on the methodology that I use to do it, because it might be a bit different to where you are. So we've got the peak, the off-peak, and the night running. So it will be, and that was controlled through the earlier thing you saw earlier. So I will do a special edition because this impacts the city now quite diversely. In fact, I need to actually set that up before I release the simulator. So the simulator will be released today. I will set up these bus lines too, so I will pause the recording, set the lines up, because they will actually take a bit of time. We're already pushing over 1 hour for this video. This would easily push it into 2-3 hours. So I'll set those up, but then I'll do a demonstration on how it's done and why it's done. So yeah, so a couple of special edition videos. So essentially, we're actually ready to go with 5.0. So the ore and coal's ready to go with the steelworks and its supporting industry. I've also dropped in a switchcon, which does electronics, and I've also set up the concrete. So that's stone with the concrete batch plants ready to go. So concrete and steel building the city. Remember 5.3 we're doing 5.3 or 5.4. No, I think 5.3 is farming, 5.4 is lumber. So either way around, check the description boxes to see which way I'm doing the series. We'll do lumber, and that's because in the production line, as you can see here, so this is for lumber. So it's for heating and processing, but it's also used to make planks and that. Okay. I was to go down to oil, which we've done earlier. It's used to make petrochemicals and chemicals and so on. You go down to stone, that produces the oh no, sorry, that's ore. So that produces the metals and metal ore. The concrete. Sorry, coal. So that produces the steel primarily, because I don't use coal-fired power plants. And then this should be stone, which is used for producing minerals, which can feed into the ore. So I believe ore does minerals as well. No, it just does metal ore, so it changes up a bit. And then it produces these goods here, which is then, as you can see, used through. So 5.2 is basically covering what you're seeing through here. So that's what we're seeing out, because when we do lumber, also plastics and that comes out of oil, because then we will drop further down. And it's actually telling me we are possibly running a deficit. We'll see. And that could be also actually because we've actually got a factory problem and there's not enough coming through. So yeah, 5.2, yeah, we've got stone to do concrete and minerals. We've got the ore for metals. We've got coal, steel, and that's all produced, and that will help continue to build the city, which is timely given we're about to release the simulator and let this go and get going. And it also allows for not only consumer goods like vehicles and machinery and all that, but it also allows for things like concrete and timber for doing your buildings and the buildings being leveled up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the simulator for the reason is I need to name the bus line, the new lines I've built, and I've got to set the timetables, but I will also cover those in a special edition on how this works, because it's basically I'm moving away from land use and spatial planning, which is what I normally do, into transport planning, which I can do when the assignment requires of me, because as we know, transport and land use support each other. You miss one, the other doesn't simply function. So I'll be back in a minute as I just set these up, and then yeah, we'll let the simulator rip. Okay, done. I've just finished setting up the last of the public transport system. So that's all ready to go under the new transit timetable scheme. So we are basically now ready to release the simulator. Again, I'll cover these and the other mods that give more realistic gameplay and their respective special editions outside of the normal series, because these affect technically all the cities I do going forward. I think we are at night time according to the game. We will do a save. This also tells me we have had earlier on where the saves were not locking on, they were crashing the game out. Looks like that problem's been fixed again. So going into the future, let's hope that's the last we've seen of that for now. Alright, proof in the pudding with 5.2. It is winter at 0 degrees. Oof. At 5, so we're just about to start the new day, and I don't think we get snow on this one. So let's hover it over Gordonton, because it is industry, and let's let rip and see what ultimately happens. Boom. Oh, sorry, it's summer. Oh, before we actually get going, just got to make sure that these are correct in that. Okay. So we don't have parking minimums on because they're banned. And this is a banned in New Zealand, my home country's planning documents, and should long stay that way. That's fine. Let's confirm that that's set to Australian, because it's the closest I get. And the asset packs. Shouldn't really do anything with that. And away we go. So the steel mill and its supporting plants, including the fabrication unit, the casting fabricator, and the blast furnace are all going. Jobs will come online shortly. As you can see, we have got industries going. So we're all good there. I'll go to Gordonton in a minute, because this is going to, all the demand meters should now start going down. We go over to Waikato Sands, and yep, the concrete plants are going. Excellent. And we've got industry coming to bring on those lines. Oh, okay, wood. Oh, there you go. Stone to produce minerals. There we go. And then I don't think these ever clear. I think there's a huge big still bugged out. Rust bucket. That's it. We are. That's just because it's adjusting itself. So that is going to take a little bit of time to get going. And my taxes should be pretty much okay. Yeah, we're looking good. What I might do is drop that down. Okay, so it does cause a little bit of a gain in some things and bust in the other. Okay, so that does happen. Garbage management is just... might just increase that ever so slightly. And I'll tell you which ones do need a bit of a boost. Looking for one more. That's just so they're a little bit more effective for their buck. And that should still be covering just fine. And yeah, we've got plenty of room to move them. And I haven't enabled the city policies yet. Okay, so. Yep, they're going. Yep, away they go. It is going to take a little bit of time for this to flow through. So you will see it fully developed when I do the special editions and do 5.3 and 5.4. So we've just got to basically just let these go because I've got to get the citizens all in here as well. So this is going to take a bit of time. We do have the Australian assets going, which is, they're going to look pretty good when they get going. Yes, it hasn't caught up yet. It's still calculating a lot of stuff, so it's going to take quite a while. Oh, here comes the first big one. See, I haven't got parking minimums on, so I've got to be very That's just doing that because we're now going into daytime. And I guarantee that's the... That's because the workers haven't come in yet. So what's that one? Oh, so yeah, they haven't come in yet, so It's going to take a little bit of time for them to come through. And you can see it's daylight, so away we go. Alright. Well, that concludes 5.2. So we've got concrete and steel. Those resources will sort themselves out. It's just a case we just need to get the workers in there. If anything, I can do subsidies to bring it down. So what is he? That's because the resources are still coming on. Lime. So that's going to take time. So basically what I've got to do now is just let the simulator rip and run. So that concludes out 5.2, which is in concrete and steel building the city, which it most certainly is. We will cover 5.3 and 5.4, which is the food, cotton, lumber, and which also includes fish. And then we'll do the special editions on Waikato Gardens itself, and then some of the new mods, including transit timetables, which is a special edition coverage all of its own, and things like the the expanded city policies one. In the meantime, I'm Palpatine001, aka the Senate, with Waikato 5.2, because concrete and steel build this city. And as always, planning, building, and experiencing.